Yeah, so I don't want to hold you guys up for too long tonight. We're gonna look at a few stocks, uh, and plan for the rest of the week. If you guys have been paying attention at all, like last time we went live on Sunday, last video was on Sunday, and it was very accurate. We like, come on now, go look at the last video, or if you remember what we talked about, it was spot on. Okay, so we plan on doing the same thing. We plan on looking at some amazing stocks, seeing what the market can do. Hopefully, somebody has some good. We can look at some good ones. But if you look at iron, this is another victim level. Okay, so if you're trying to long right here, you definitely want to make sure it stays above 6147. Okay, if not, it'll retest that victim level, and then if it could get a strong retest from this level that you see right here, then you can look for calls around here. But like you want to be look. There's times and places to get calls for things. Like you could even got calls when it retested this 5125, and so if you wanted to get to that $40 area, it needs to break below 5125. If you wanted to continue going up, you needed to stay above 6147. But make no mistake, okay? Make no mistake about something like iron. Let me delete all this and make it all nice and pretty. Make no mistake, this is going to all-time highs, okay? We're in a market that literally that that literally is, I'm not gonna say debasing the dollar just because I think the dollar is gonna have a very strong rally, when all this is said and done, because it's the dollar, right? It's gonna have a strong rally, but that's something to look forward to. But right now is where assets are completely winning, right? And that's something that we've been seeing with gold, Meta, any like the Qs is gonna go back to all time highs, etc. And iron, I think it can reach 103, maybe even 147. It's a $20 billion market cap. Okay, $20 billion market cap in one of the hottest sectors right now. Okay, which is AI infrastructure. But it does have earnings in 8 days. That's something to look out for. Bro, any tips of advice on how to spot if stock will have a huge volume and it will be a runner? I mean, just little stuff to look for. Little stuff to look for. I mean, you really, if you stick around, I think there'll be an example. If you stick around, I think there will be an example. Okay, but put in the comments what stocks you guys want to look at. I almost forgot about you, Paul. Yeah, I only go live. I only go live on Wednesdays and Sundays, and then I post the live. Okay, you guys want to look at silver? We'll look at silver. Buddy in the wrong zone, if you think it's cooked. Where have you been? MIA. I'm weak. I just go live Sunday, Wednesday now. Sunday, Wednesday, and then eventually I'll kick it back up, but. Definitely want to focus on some other things. But for silver, this is really in price discovery mode. Okay, price discovery mode. This is all momentum at the end of the day. Okay, this is nothing that I try to short. This is nothing that I try to time the top on. Just like you wouldn't time the bottom on things, right? Like you wouldn't sit in here and try to catch a falling knife on something like, let's just bring up Duolingo, just because I think Duolingo's garbage. But you wouldn't try to get calls, or you wouldn't try to. You understand? Like, just like this is going down, and you wouldn't try to time the bottom. I'm gonna get calls right here because there's no way it goes down that much, and then just keep going. And then I'm gonna get calls right here. There's no way. So the same thing is happening for silver. It's in price discovery mode. It's in a mode where you do not short. You simply ride momentum, and any red days that it gives you, you probably want to take advantage of it until it forms a different structure. Okay, a different structure meaning forming some lower highs or some lower lows. But this is a very strong chart that there's no reason to go against the trend. Okay, the trend is your friend. It looks like it will continue to move to the upside, in my opinion. But you're definitely late. Like you're definitely late. Okay, you're late to the party. If you're buying silver right here, you're late to the party. Okay, you're late. You're late. You could have got red candle. Like there. I'm not. I still think it could go up. Don't get me wrong, but you're definitely late to this party. Okay, the party started at 8 p.m. right? And the party started at 8 p.m. and you're trying to get into the party at 2 a.m. Okay, and the sun rises at 5 a.m. 6 a.m. right? So definitely a little late, and I think there's probably some better trades, but I mean, look at this. Come on. Anyways, let's move on. Do you think Hims hits 40? I don't like Hims. 300 plus. I think silver, like I'm saying, like I think silver, and if you look at the dollar, and if you guys remember the lives that we talked about back in 2023 and 2022, like you can go on YouTube and look at our past videos. when the dollar is at 107, breaking up here, this is where we're expecting the dollar to be 96 and even lower. I think the dollar can get all the way back to 93 and 92. I think peak dollar debasement, that theory, that thesis is out there right now. Okay, so people are gonna continue to run to higher risk assets. They're gonna continue to run to the golds and silvers. They're gonna continue to run to all this stuff like we've been talking about. It's really just the stuff that we talked about. It needed news. Okay, now the news is out there. The news is coming out. The news is coming out. Okay, so stay patient. I think, like I said, high risk assets will continue. Can you look at IWM? I'm shorting the. Can you look at IWM? Crypto's keeps going down though. Exactly, but crypto is gonna have its moment. Okay, it's gonna have its moment, and people are gonna be like, Bitcoin's the new gold. It's gonna have its moment. Okay, it's just a patience game for something like that. It has to get all the people out that are trying to it has to. So. And the funny thing is, if you guys tune into these lives, we're gonna be talking about this. Okay, we're never wrong. We're just early to a lot of this stuff. Okay, we're just early. So Bitcoin, I think you're early, but how early do you want to be? Like some people don't have enough patience. So, but if you look at IWM, I think small cap. This thing just head and shoulders for one, right? So you have a head and shoulders that form. You have the shoulder and then the head and then the other shoulder. I think IWM is gonna go higher. I think IWM can get to 300 plus, but it is gonna go through a little corrective phase that you are currently having right now, and the next bounce area that you have is at around 260. Okay, so 260, I'd be looking for a bounce around there. If it doesn't bounce at 260, it's then looking to go maybe a bit lower to maybe 255. Okay, maybe 255, maybe 259. Right, like. There's some levels that it has to catch itself at. I think maybe 259, and then after that maybe 255. Okay, so it has some levels that it needs to retrace to, and these are the three levels that I'd be looking at IWM to catch itself on. Okay, and it makes sense if you guys remember, like anytime you get a very strong IWM has been very predictable since it bottomed out around Thanksgiving of last year, where you have these very strong legs. You had a very strong leg, and then it comes down and retests a little bit and consolidates for a half a month, right? And then it has another big leg, and I think right now you're gonna get the same sort of thing. Maybe retest for a little bit and then blast off time. Okay, because small caps are not done, the market is not done, and this is something that we've been talking about time and time again. I think IWM can continue to go to the upside, but can it have a brief retracement period like we're seeing, since Thursday of last week, since Thursday, yeah. And which makes sense. Like money is rotating into Mag 7. Like if you've been paying attention to the Qs, now it's the Qs' turn to really start going crazy. We're seeing the Qs go to all-time highs, right? So all of this stuff is kind of, and if you guys remember, like this is what happened, like all of November until now. Okay, the strong asset class was the small caps. Okay, now it looks like it's rotating back into a lot of Mag 7. So I kind of want to focus on, a couple more of those stocks versus some small cap. We'll look at small caps, but it's clear as day that the Qs and bigger cap stocks, Mag 7, they're the ones to be focused on right now. But anyways, let's move on. Do you think the government shutdown will take markets? Not necessarily. Okay, the last time we had a government shutdown, it didn't. We actually went crazy. Right, so I don't think it's a stocks going down or they're going up. Like we just gotta wait and see. But MP on sale after hours. Let's look at MP. Let's look at MP. Okay, and it definitely is on sale. But do you want this sale? Is the real question. Do you want this sale for MP? And I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes. And the reason the answer is yes. Let me delete all this. And if you guys remember, we were talking about MP. If you're in the Discord, we were talking about this at $24. We made a whole bunch of money on this on the first rally that it had to 60. I don't think MP's done at all. This is a stock that is literally in cahoots with the Pentagon, right? They're becoming the largest rare earth mineral stock in the in the United States, and it's just going to continue to go that way because the United States and Trump, they don't want to have to rely on China for some of these rare earth minerals. So this stock is just going to get bigger and bigger. They're getting grants, right? They're getting supplemented from the government. And to me, I think these are just, first of all, I think these are just good equity buys, right? Like if you were just to buy these and because you need this stuff they're essential for motors, missiles, robotics, okay? Like this is a very essential company for what is to come in the future, okay? So just equity, like stock in general, you'll probably fare very well in the next 5 to 10 years. But if we're looking at, where this is a good dip buy, and, is this stuff on discount? I think so. This thing wicked all the way to the buying area, which is the swing low to swing high, right? The swing low to the swing high, it literally bounced from there in after hours, like you see this 4 hour, that little wick that you see right there, it bounced there, and I think this could potentially mark the bottom. I think this is one of the better entries that you can get into, and if some of you guys remember, INTC, right? The last time the government invested into something, it was INTC, and I think they even did a little bit of the earth minerals like way back when they were doing the INTC stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now they're doubling down on some of the rare earth minerals, and this same sort of format happened with INTC, right? INTC didn't just go to the, like, you had the government stuff happening, then it didn't just go to the moon, right? Like you saw what's been happening, the past couple weeks. It acted like a chart. It acted like a chart. And I would say MP looks exactly like this structure that you're seeing right here, right? Right? It looks exactly like this structure. Like, just take a mental picture of that, and then we come back over to MP. And of course, we got to get the 4 hour, but it looks exactly like that structure, okay? So I really like it right here. I'd be definitely looking to get maybe, first of all, some equity, but, second of all, maybe some leaps. And then third of all, maybe like a month out trade or something, okay? That's the order that I keep it in. Anyways, move on. Let's move on. Price floor is irrelevant. It had to do something with a promised price floor that Trump promised MP. USAR is definitely another good one. Charts are one thing, news is another thing. Look at both. Yeah, I like USAR as well. I mean, I think these, like I said, I think these are just good equity buys. Like if you were just holding them, this is a $3 billion market cap stock. I really believe this could get to $10 billion, and that put it around $60 to $70. I'm definitely looking forward to buying this dip. Definitely looking forward to buying this dip tomorrow. We'll see, man. We'll see what we get into. Check out copper. Give me the ticker for copper. If we're looking at copper, let me get the ticker, man. Let me get the ticker. Let me receive of the ticker. Let me receive of the ticker. Let me see. Oracle. Check out Lunar. Check out QUBT, LAC. LAC. Yeah, LAC is the same sort of dilemma. Okay, same sort of dilemma for LAC. USAR, LAC. And they're all sitting. These are structures that I really like, by the way. Okay, they look bearish to the people who don't know charts, but these are actually one of the more bullish structures. Okay, where you have this sort of high right here, and then it comes down. Kind of makes a shoulder, and then it sweeps everybody from right here. And then what we see after that is usually upside movement. I'm going to be very interested in seeing if this plays out, because I've seen it play out time and time again on a multitude of stocks, right? Like, I know you guys have been tuned in. Like, we've seen this. This is a structure that I like. Somebody said, no, please don't. Copex, MHG is copper. You guys want to look at copper? Let's look at copper, man. Which I of course, is probably ripping. Yeah, of course. It's futures, too. Yeah, of course it's ripping. But Copec, copper. Wait, what? Oh, man, we got the copper boys in here, man. Yeah, copper looks great. It looks great. Okay, now these are obviously trades that we like. I wish I saw this back over here when it was sitting in this flag, and we could have easily got in Thanksgiving, and it was. Now this is a huge news story. Okay, what do they say about news story? Buy the rumor, sell the news. I wish I was buying on the rumor on stuff like copper. All right, like now I look, man, we're gonna come back and this is gonna be hilarious, okay? And I'm making sure that I'm gonna get some crypto stocks, okay? I'm always early, I'm never wrong. You look at Bitcoin, you look at gold, you look at copper. Look, man. I think right now is the early stage before we see a copper. You guys saw copper, right? I think we're in the early stages before we see something like this for Bitcoin. Okay, and the funny thing is, this only took like 2 months. Anyways, short copper now. There's no way you should be looking to short anything. It's momentum. Lunar. Let's look at Lunar. Somebody was telling us about Lunar, like a while ago. Okay, and this is what we had for Lunar. This is what we had for Lunar. It was literally like this looks scribble scrabbly, but I remember we were looking at Lunar back in like September or August, and dang, yeah, this thing is absolutely gone. I think it can get to 32. This is in a bullish megaphone. Okay, bullish megaphone. Okay, are you bullish on ETH? Absolutely. This is in a bullish megaphone. It's now broken all the price targets. This thing looks like it's going to get to 32. Very, very bullish. I don't even want to look at it, mainly because we looked at this chart way back when. Bullish megaphone looks insanely good. Yeah, it was Jennifer. It was Jennifer. Yep. Yeah, absolutely bullish. I love this one. Looks good. I wish I would have got in, bought some stock on it or something. Easily could have got some stock at around $8, $10. It gave you time to accumulate. Very good one. Very good one. Carvana, garbage. I got out a while ago. Dang. WAM is bullish. Platinum. Are you bullish on it? Dude, look at the upside on Lunar from the day. Yeah, it went crazy. 12% day. I mean, what's your thoughts on NAC? Let's look at NAC. My boy Canadian really likes this one, I think. But you look at NAC, non-energy, dynasty minerals. I think these are good. But like, why would I get into this when I can get into USAR, or MP? Why would I get, I think sticking, for some of those, it's like, because USAR is a $3 billion market cap. NAC is like 1.5 billion. So it's really not that much of a discrepancy to where it's like, okay, I might as well get into USAR and actually be in the right thing. Like, that's the right thing, I know for sure. Biggest pebble mine, I'm weak. Zoom is about to pop. What is this, 2020? You may be right. They have investments in, I think, Anthropic. Why can't I see candlesticks on Webull? You probably don't have the settings right, because usually you can see a lot of that stuff. But we looked at a whole lot of mineral stocks tonight. Do we have SNDK? Like, this stock's gone. Like, why look at something? Let's find the next one. Let's find the next one, man. Let's find the next one. SMCI, and it has earnings tomorrow. But SMCI has earnings in 6 days, but I actually really liked this one back when it was back like over here at 28. This is a really good entry, but up here, I don't know, it has earnings. And you definitely want to see this trade above $32. Path. I think this is a good equity buy, man. But Path, you want to be careful, okay? You want to be careful because we really need this above we really need a monthly close on this above like 1660, okay? That's the real big level for something like Path. Once it get closed above that on the monthly, then yeah, you have a lot of stuff. And I think they do like AI agentic type of stuff, which I think is becoming popular right now. So that's definitely something to look forward to. But you definitely want to see a monthly close on above 1662. Path and App, and this is a $9 billion market cap stock. They say UiPath, and I actually like UiPath, by the way. I actually really do. I think this is just a good stock to buy equity on, to be honest with you. It's just one you want to hold on to because it does have a lot to do with AI. Like this, I think this is a 5 to 10 year hold. But you look at UiPath, it dominates the robotic process automation arena, deploying AI to enhance and automate enterprise workflows. Meanwhile, AppLovin is called a strong need of mobile advertising technology, AI to maximize app monetization. As AI becomes an essential component of modern enterprise solutions, investors face a crucial decision. Which of the tech offers stronger investment case today? The case for UiPath in advantage in automation comes from how well its platform turns AI ideas into everyday business efficiency. Instead of relying only on fixed rule-based bots, the company is moving toward agentic AI, software agents that can understand intent, work across tasks, and adjust set limits. This shift makes automation more. I actually like it. Like I said, I think this is a long-term hold. And if you remember when this IPO, this is a 92, like it was around 85. And we've seen this chart like play out time and time again where you have these, now it's 5 years accumulation, right? This is a 5-year accumulation period to where you'll probably never see these prices ever, 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 ever again when this does start taking off. Meaning this is probably the best time. This is where this is accumulation. Okay, this is accumulation. This is where large corporations, large banks, large hedge funds, they're accumulating right here. Okay, the same sort of thing happened with something like Robinhood, right? Accumulation. These long periods of time. This was a three-year long period of time where they just sat here and accumulated. Okay, we can pull up a bunch of stocks that this happened to. Okay. Blackstone increased shares by 14 million in past. Yeah, like, come on, man. Look at the volume candles, bro. So somebody asked about volume. Let's see. Yeah, nasty volume ever since October 2025. Even nasty volume last month in December. And then lower volume. There's actually lower volume on the sell candle. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Lower volume on the sell candles. Big volume on the green candles. And like I said, the market is not done at all going to the upside, right? We know the market's not done going to the upside. We know small caps are going to continue to get bid. We know this market has a lot more juice in it, right? We know AI bubble is the arena you definitely want to be in because that's where the bubble is. Okay, just like how internet stocks were the bubble back in 2000, you wanted to be in internet stocks. Now you want to be in stuff like AI, memory. That's why memory sticks. IREN, MBIS. Just those type of stocks are having massive success right now because that's where the bubble is. You understand? MU. We could really talk about a whole lot of stocks. Anyways, look at MSTR. Let's look at MSTR. I like MSTR a whole lot. Some of you guys remember. I like MSTR a whole lot. We talk about MSTR on here, and this is where I believe it is bottoming out at. Okay, now this is like I said, this is a patience game. Never wrong, just early. I believe MSTR you're gonna end up being early on this because we need to wait for silver, we need to wait for gold, we need to wait for all those stocks to really cool down and for the narrative to switch to crypto, which it will. Okay. Crypto is $3 trillion, and we're seeing gold and real estate. We're seeing all that stuff above 20 trillion, 30 trillion, 50 trillion, 100. You understand? So a lot of those are getting their pump right now, but I believe crypto will ultimately get reversed back into. And if you look at the RSI, I just think it's if you're gonna buy options for this, you want to go really far out. You probably want to you want to get like some Septembers or maybe even further. But really equity, like if you want to make sure you make some money on something like MSTR and the upcoming crypto boom, which I believe is gonna happen, equity. Okay, equity is always the best bet. But if you look at where the RSI was, and I'm saying that because I've lost money on MSTR getting too short contracts. Okay. Now, equity-wise, I've done very well, right? I was buying this at around $20, $30. Went all the way to $500, okay? But if you look at the RSI is at levels that it is bottomed out at before, okay? Like you see right here, like we're seeing now, okay? But it does consolidate for a little bit, even right here. Like, this is just an RSI that is very, very low and that is bottoming out. And that's what we've been seeing. We've just been seeing consolidation, bottoming out, like it wicking. You understand? So there's no TA to really look at currently. It's just boring. It's a dead stock, really since December, really since Thanksgiving. It's really just been a dead stock, really just been sitting in the same place. Nothing's been happening, okay? Same with Bitcoin. Like, it's just dead. But there will be a time, okay? Like I said, I'm always early. I'm never wrong. There will be a time. There will be a time. All right, Carvana. I bought the leveraged ETF. Leveraged ETFs are only good when it's pumping a whole lot, which I think like I said, I think Bitcoin and I actually think it's good. It's a discount. First of all, you're getting a massive discount. This thing's $4. I think it can probably pump to we'll have to see, but I think it's a good bet. It's a good bet. Let's look at a few more stocks and then we'll get out of here, okay? A few more stocks that we'll get out of here. Carvana. There's nothing to look at for Carvana. What's to look at for Carvana? This thing just got hit with a, it got hit with, it got hit with some stuff. So I want to let the news figure itself out. Down 15%. I can see dip buyers wanting to get it. I can see people wanting to short it. So really, it just might chop. Okay. I wish I would have shorted it before. Let's look at OKLO. Let's look at OKLO. Let's look at OKLO because I think OKLO has massive, massive, massive opportunity happening right now. Massive. Okay? Massive opportunity for OKLO. This is in a sector that is an amazing sector. Nuclear power for AI stuff. Come on, man. Now, they're not going to turn profit to like 2030. Let's just be honest. Like, they're not really doing anything to like 2030. But I believe this is a sector that is going to be very, very good. And just TA-wise, it looks like it's getting ready for its next leg anyways, okay? If you just look at the TA, you look at the RSI, this is where the RSI bottom over here. It did it again, and this is something that we talked about back when it was around $70. Some of you guys remember, this is when we were talking about $70. Oh yeah, this is the RSI. Now it's made its move for 70 to 125. I don't think it's done at all. Matter of fact, all it's really doing right now is retesting the weekly. All it did was retest the weekly buying area like you see right here. That's all it did. Okay, so very, very bullish. This is the buying area. You do not want to short it inside of here until you get a weekly close below 87, which it doesn't look like it's going to give you a weekly close below 87 this week anyways. So I really like it. You could even say it's forming like a nice little, inverse head and shoulders. Looks very, very good. Okay, this is probably one of my favorites heading into the rest of this bull run. Really, you don't even have to worry about earnings until 61 days. All right, very good. Anyways, we just looked at PAD. We just looked at PAD heavy. Like we literally sat there and looked at PAD for a long time. You just missed it. But anyways, I appreciate everyone for tuning into the live. Like I said, I don't want to be live for too long. I really want to see how this week plays out. We have a lot to look forward to. A lot of good stuff happening. Do not turn bearish on me, okay? Now we may fall for a little bit, but that's where you really want to hone in on what are some good buying opportunities, like we've been talking about every single time. Every single time we get a dip, I come in here and we gotta look for good buying opportunities, okay? And that's what we do. And we buy time on some of this stuff. And if you're not patient, right? If you're going too heavy on some of this stuff, then you're not gonna fare well. But anyways, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Everything is linked in the bio. You have a good night as well. I love all of you guys. May God be with you tonight. And appreciate you guys all for tuning in. All right. This will be posted on the YouTube as well. All right. Post on the YouTube like 10 minutes after this is done. All right. I'll talk to you guys later, man. I'm out. Peace. No, you're the best. I'm the best. Yeah, no.